In a quiet, hidden valley, life moved to the slow rhythm of nature. At its heart stood the waiting tree, ancient, gnarled, and bare, a silent witness to generations. The villagers called it the waiting tree, not out of affection, but because it never bloomed or bore fruit. Children played around its base, elders gathered in its sparse shade, but the tree remained unchanged. Each season brought color and bounty to the valley, except to the waiting tree, which stood gray and still. Its barrenness was a source of quiet frustration, a question mark in a world of renewal. Yet it was woven into daily life, a landmark and a mystery. Through spring's blossoms, summer's fruit, autumn's fire, and winter's frost, the waiting tree never changed. It simply waited, a silent enigma in a valley bursting with life. Spring awakened the valley, coaxing buds and blossoms from every tree except the waiting tree. It stood apart, its branches bare, a stark contrast to the vibrant life around it. Summer brought laughter and harvests, but the waiting tree offered no fruit, no shade, just its silent, unyielding form. Autumn painted the valley in gold and crimson, but the waiting tree remained gray, contributing nothing to the spectacle. Year after year, the villagers' patience wore thin. "It's useless," muttered a young farmer, "no shade, no fruit, no beauty." The tree's endurance was seen as stubbornness, its age a blemish rather than a blessing. Admiration turned to annoyance. The waiting tree became a symbol of wasted potential. Once respected, it was now dismissed as a stubborn old fool, taking up space that could be put to better use. The villagers' whispers grew louder, their frustration mounting with each unchanging season. The waiting tree, unmoved, continued its silent vigil. It watched as the world changed around it, never revealing its purpose. The question remained, why did it wait? Only Amina Bibi, the valley's oldest woman, saw the tree differently. Every afternoon she sat at its base, her presence gentle and wise. Children would ask, "Why do you love this tree? It does nothing." She'd smile and say, "It teaches us to wait. Not all growth is visible. Some happens deep within." She told stories of seeds that slept for 100 years and mountains that began as stones. When villagers complained, she'd remind them, its roots hold the soil together. Its strength is in its endurance. Her words were often dismissed, but they planted seeds of doubt. Through her, children saw the tree as a mystery, not a failure. "The waiting tree is not barren," she insisted. "It's gathering strength for a moment yet to come." Amina Bibi was the tree's quiet defender, believing in its hidden purpose. She listened to its silence, teaching others that nature's timeline is its own. The tree, she said, was a vessel of patient potential, and so the waiting tree waited, and Amina Bibi waited with it. Another fruitless spring passed, and the villagers' patience snapped. "It's a blight," declared the farmer. "Let's cut it down and plant an orchard." The idea spread quickly. The tree was now seen as an obstacle, not a relic. Plans were made to fell the ancient sentinel. Amina Bibi stood before them pleading, "You see only what it is not. Its roots are the anchors of our home." But her words were drowned by the villagers' demand for action. The decision was set. The tree would be cut down at week's end. Children who'd listened to Amina Bibi's stories watched with worried eyes. They sensed the loss of something precious, just as they'd begun to understand its value. A heavy silence fell over the valley, filled with the grim promise of destruction. The waiting tree's long vigil seemed destined for a violent end. The villagers sharpened their axes, ready to erase the tree from their world. The valley held its breath. But before the axes could fall, the sky withheld its rain. Spring showers vanished and summer brought relentless heat. The stream dried to a trickle, then disappeared. Grasses withered, soil cracked, and the valley's trees began to die. Orchards became graveyards, crops failed. Panic set in as wells yielded only dust. The air thickened with dust and despair. Through it all, the waiting tree stood unchanged, bare but unbowed. The sun and drought did not touch it. While every other plant wilted, it endured. Its stark form, once a symbol of failure, became a beacon of survival. In a world of death, it was the last thing standing. The waiting tree, silent and strong, became the valley's only hope. At the drought's peak, hope was gone until a child noticed something strange at the waiting tree. Tiny, pearlescent buds dotted its branches. The villagers gathered, stunned. Nothing should grow in such heat. The buds swelled and burst into a cascade of white, waxy blossoms, glowing in the twilight. A sweet fragrance filled the air, washing away the scent of dust. Nectar dripped from the flowers, softening the cracked earth below. Soon golden fruit hung from every branch. The villagers tasted it, sweet, nourishing, more refreshing than water. The tree that had given nothing for centuries now gave everything. Its fruit fed the people, its nectar healed the land. The valley, once dying, began to revive. The waiting tree's patience had become the valley's salvation. The miracle was undeniable. The valley was being saved. Amina Bibi sat by the tree, vindicated and serene. The villagers gathered, humbled and grateful. How did it survive? They asked. She placed her hand on the trunk. While others blossomed, this tree sent its roots deep, storing life for when it was needed most. Its patience was not emptiness but wisdom. It waited for the right moment to give. The villagers realized they'd judged by appearances, missing the quiet work beneath the surface. The waiting tree taught them that true strength is built in silence and patience. Its greatest gift was not just fruit, but the lesson of endurance and unseen growth. To those who feel left behind, Amina Bibi said, perhaps you are sending your roots deeper, preparing for your own time to bloom. Trust your journey, your moment will come, and it will be magnificent. The valley flourished again, forever changed by the wisdom of the waiting tree. The tree stood, not just as a survivor, but as a symbol of hope and patient strength. And so, the valley learned to wait, and to trust in the quiet miracles beneath the surface.